All right. Hi, Eric. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me,
Everyone,
Catherine.
it's so good to see you. For those of you watching, I met Eric at actually a Wildcatters pitch day, and we hit it off because we're both in the digital marketing industry. So Eric is actually the CEO of GlobeRunner SEO, which is a search marketing agency that has expanded to also serve just the whole realm of online marketing services. Is that right, Eric?
That's exactly right.
So you're now offering what? Social media marketing, content marketing, conversion rate optimization, just kind of the whole package.
Yeah, exactly. We've kind of over time realized that our clients needed a partner that could service all of their online and digital needs, and so we've really become that partner as we've grown and expanded our client base.
Because you started out, now if I saw it right, was it My Safe Baby Travels? What was that you
Baby safe
started?
travel. Yeah.
And is that what really, because I was looking over the website, and from what I know of you, that's how you kind of, everyone started asking you for search marketing help, because that was such a success, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So Baby Safe Travel was initially, I mean, when we originally thought about it, it was just going to be a side business. It wasn't even going to be a full-time gig. And it went really well and captured my excitement and attention. And uh, that's how I really got into SEO and SEM through that company. We were able to get that going pretty well. And then I had friends who were, business owners, and they said, "Hey, can you help me with my SEO?" And so I'd start helping them, and then it didn't take long for me to think, well, maybe I should start an agency here. And that's when I started GlobeRunner.
Great. And I was thinking, and one of the reasons I'm so excited to talk to you, besides that you're just kind of an expert, not kind of, you are the expert in this area in Dallas, being on the Dallas-Fort Worth Search Engine Optimization or Search Engine Marketing Association, right? What I feel like a lot of people, at least are asking me, is they want search marketing, they want to hire someone or contract someone, but they don't know enough about it. They already have full-time jobs. They're not going to necessarily spend their evenings, or maybe they're already working on their prior responsibilities, to learn enough about SEO or search marketing to even hire the right person.
Right.
So I wanted to get your opinion on that. How hard is it to find a legitimate search marketing partner?
Well, I think it can be really challenging. And you come at this initially as a potential customer of an SEO firm. So when I started Baby Safe Travel, before I decided that I would commit my, essentially commit my life to being an SEO, I was trying to hire SEOs, and that's what got me into the business initially, is the frustration of trying to find somebody who would partner with me, that would bring value, that would operate in the way that I wanted them to operate. And so when I discovered that was challenging to find in the marketplace, I felt like I could do it better, and that's one of the main reasons that I got into the business.
What makes it difficult to find the right SEO partner? Is it they're not keeping up on the trends or the updates? Where is that? Do they just not have the professional development there?
No, I mean, there are degrees in knowledge that you'll get, and you don't want to hire somebody who's not up to date, and there are those. But I would say the majority of the folks out there at least try to keep up with the basics. The main challenge, I think, is knowing what you're getting when you sign up for somebody's service. So, there's a huge range of services that you might be buying. You may accidentally just be buying a slice of the service rather than the whole package, or you may be buying a service that will actually do you more harm than good, and that's really unfortunate when clients potentially do that.
What do you mean when a service is doing more harm than good?
Well, there's a lot of SEOs out there who will use what's called black hat tactics or gray hat tactics. And, I'm not casting judgment on this, but the key is the clients need to be really aware of what they're buying when they get into that. So some of those tactics can be effective, and they can be effective really well in the short term. but some of them have some pretty serious long-term consequences because they do violate Google's webmaster guidelines and can lead to potential penalties from Google. So if you're, shopping around, it's very easy to kind of get suckered into a deal like that because generally those are cheaper. Most of those are automated services that are not done by real people, they're done by robots, and that's a big reason that they're something that Google can detect because robots leave patterns. And so those patterns are like footprints. And so a client that's, looks for a low-cost service that might sound really shiny and new and exciting, that's going to, get them 1,000 links a month or whatever, might see some success early on, but then eventually that might bite them in the long term and generate a penalty or lower rankings through an algorithm update. And so that would be one of the key things, is just to be clear with the vendor that you're buying from, what the service is, what the risk level you're engaging is. Is it a no-risk strategy, a low-risk strategy, or a moderate to high-risk strategy? We operate on the white hat level with clients and don't risk their sites with penalties, and we're transparent about what we do and how we go about it. But not all of the service providers out there are transparent, so that's one of the bigger challenges that people run into.
That's really interesting to hear you say those questions, such as what is the risk factor in this? So what should someone be asking when they're speaking with a potential hire for search marketing?
Yeah, so that's one. And if a really educated buyer might say, you know what, I'm willing to take a little bit of risk, or maybe I'm going to build a separate site that I'll take more risk on that's not connected to my main property. And that's fine. For me, I'm not. Some people are like, oh, never, ever, ever, and that's not my opinion at all. My opinion is, you need to understand too, and buy it with intention rather than just go into it willy-nilly. We're of the opinion that we like to do long-term growth strategies, just like a stock advisor. Some stock advisors are going to say, well, let's go day trade, and maybe that works for you. But we're a long-term growth, buy and hold kind of company, as just to give you an analogy. And so that's what we offer to our clients, is a strategy that has long-term impacts, but may not be as exciting on the short term. You may not get those quick, highs of, immediate results that you would from some of the more black or gray hat techniques.
It sounds like the black hat or gray hat, and from what I know about it, they could easily backfire. Like that's where the high risk comes in, right?
Correct. Yeah. So they have some appeal because they usually get some quick wins, but they very likely will backfire. It's not really a question of if they'll backfire, it's a question of when they'll backfire.
How would, if someone wants to ask some of the educated questions you're mentioning some customers might ask, obviously there's a spectrum of what people go in knowing, where would you recommend they start just the minimal amount of research to be having an educated conversation with an SEO?
Yeah. Well, I'd work on referrals is one thing I'd look at. Try to talk to people and see who's worked with somebody, particularly on a personal level. I'd find somebody who gave me a referral has a long-term relationship with an online marketing partner rather than a short-term relationship. So that would be a couple things I'd look for. There's some good sources out there. I think SEO Moz has some great resources that are pretty easy to digest, just to learn about what the industry is all about. Search Engine Land is a good place for news and updates and trends. But honestly, a client can get very quickly buried in this type of information and sometimes led astray. So I would start with the trusted sources, but it's not their job to understand the industry that much. It's their job to find somebody that they can trust and they can work with, who can explain what they're doing in common English and really make it clear and say, here's what we're doing, here's why we're doing it, here's the effect it'll have. This what we're doing does or does not violate Google's webmaster guidelines, and this is why we think this is or isn't a good idea. So I would say finding a partner that can make it fairly easy for you to understand is an important thing, and I'd certainly interview a few before I made a quick decision.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, there's a lot out there to know. I know even I, being in the industry, it is overwhelming to keep up with. So I always try to work with people. And I know people at your agency, it's professional development. They really keep up on the trends and the updates to make sure everything stays white hat.
We do.
Right?
And one of the things that I look for in potential hires is a real curiosity for learning. That's probably the biggest thing I look for in potential hires is that excitement about learning something new, that excitement about keeping up to date with the industry. If they have that energy and that drive to learn, then they'll be able to adapt as the industry changes. Because, you know, the service offering will change over time, and just by definition, you know, Google will, you know, whether it's a new ad product that we need to learn and adapt to and you know, figure out how to maximize our return on that ad product, or it's a you know, a change to the algorithm and figuring out how to rank a client better based on new algorithm factors. So, you know, we're always working. For instance, authorship, for instance, was a great one that we were really excited about. Authorship. We were talking about authorship. I gave 3 or 4 speeches on authorship last year, telling everybody we had to be on authorship. Well, guess what? Google pulled the plug on authorship just a few weeks back. So authorship's out. No more authorship. So, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, you get a strategy, put together a strategy around, you know, the best knowledge you have, and, you know, then sometimes that gets pulled out and you've got to replace it with something else. And that's just the world we live in. That's the nature of our business.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like the 2 things I would be looking for then are someone that wants to find a partner, as in someone with a curiosity, they love learning, they're not afraid to tackle a new challenge, and someone that can explain it in just plain English.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be cautious with vendors who have kind of, you know, big promises are something I definitely deal with. If they're promising, you know, we're going to double your traffic tomorrow, I'd think about it before I signed on with that, because they're probably not going to be able to deliver that. And if they are, it may come with consequences. So I'd be very cautious about vendors that overpromise. And oh, sorry about that. Let me just ignore. All right. Sorry.
Over here.
So I'd be cautious about those things.
Well, that's really good to know, and I hope a lot of our viewers find this useful. And of course, you can go to the Globe Runner SEO blog, right, and other resources on the website to read more about it. Contact someone at Globe Runner or myself. I'm going to go ahead and I'll be writing a recap of this in a blog post, and so I'll make sure our contact information is on there if anyone has questions.
Absolutely, yeah, and I would encourage people to go to our blog. We're very active about keeping up and letting people know about industry changes. We try to be very transparent and a thought leadership point of view, as opposed to some that choose not to share. We're much more likely to share the updates and tell you what's going on. So whether you're a client or not, I think we try to provide valuable information on the blog. So I'd encourage everybody to go visit that.
Absolutely, and I'll go ahead and I'll share the link to that as well, so anyone watching can go right there. So great. Eric, thank you so much. I hope I get to see you again soon, maybe at another Dallas event, Health Wildcatters or DFW SEM.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, Catherine. I really appreciate you having me on the air today.
This is really fun. I'll be sure to share the link with you when it's up and live. And again, I hope I see you soon.
Okay, great. Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Eric. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.